City News at 8 o'clock on Tuesday the 25th of February. Good morning, this is Claire Ronacres. Energy costs will rise by more than expected in April.
Good morning and welcome back to the diary. Thank you for joining me. And at last, we're going fishing. It's been absolutely ages since I've been out. In fact, the last time I was out, it was a social with my pal Dave on the big river down in Yorkshire, and turned out to be a blank. Yes, no? And shortly after the new year kicked in, of course, so did winter. And we had a couple, 3 weeks almost, of really cold weather, frozen ponds, snow melt filled rivers. And it just didn't feel like it was even worth bothering, to be honest. And then we got rid of that cold weather, or the very cold weather, and some of life's demands, disciplines kicked in, got in the way, and stopped me getting out. And so, as I say, it's been what feels like ages. But today we're going fishing. We're going pike fishing back on the big river in Yorkshire. Haven't got off to the best of starts, to be honest. The traffic has been absolutely desperate. It's half term in a lot of places, and I thought it might be quieter, but my God, just getting out of Newcastle was a struggle. So I'm running behind schedule. But anyway, we're going. That's the main thing. See if we can get a pike. I'll see you when we're on the bank. Yeah. Right, that's us fishing. I'm about an hour behind schedule, thanks to the traffic on the way down this morning. But we're here and we're fishing. Unfortunately, now get me excuses in early here. I'm not in the swim I had hoped to fish. You guys that follow the channel will know I do have a favourite swim down here on the big river. Well, it turns out the river's still about a metre up. Its level is dropping back, but it's still about a metre up. So my favourite swim's under about, I don't know, 8 inches of water. And so I've had to come to a new swim. I've never actually fished this swim before, but I took the easy option. Rather than have to walk a long way, I'm almost fishing out the back of the van. Now that probably means I don't deserve a fish, but I don't care. With being an hour late, I wasn't going to waste a lot of time hiking to a different swim. So here we are, and here we're staying. The minced fish block's gone in, so we'll just see if we can attract some attention. Well, we're about 20 minutes in. Tactics, well, it's basically what I always do. I have to fish in 2 rods, one with a straight ledger for searching the width of the river, the other with a float ledger to fish the margin. The float on the float ledger is started trembling, so I fear I may have crayfish in front of me. Now, I have suffered from a day with the crayfish on a previous video on this stretch of the river. It's weird. Some swims you don't have any bother at all. The swim next door can be full of crayfish, and I fear this might be one of those. I'll bring the bait in a few minutes and see what we've got. Yeah, it just sits and vibrates. I think that's the word. We'll see. Not sure. Something there. I'm not sure how big it is. It's not massive. Oh, come on. Lovely. There we go. Oh, dear. Steady. Right, blank saver. It's just starting to fatten up a little bit, maybe. I don't know. Maybe £6, maybe 5, maybe. Nice fish from the middle of the river. Nothing on this on the margin rod at all, other than what I suspect is crayfish. Lovely. Let's get him back. Well, it's been a long time since I was out, as I was saying earlier, so getting a fish is a bit special and a bit overdue. Right, come on boy, away you go. It's got hold of the net. We go. Lovely. Well, 2.5 hours in, and that was a very welcome fish. I bought the margin rod in the float ledger about an hour ago, and no bait on it at all. I suspect, as I said earlier, I'm feeding the crayfish. Hopefully the ledger rod, which is out in the middle of the river, might be immune to that, and it seems to have worked for that first fish. The baits I'm using at the moment are sardine. Well, there were sardines on both. But having brought the float ledger in from the margin with no bait left on at all, I did have a couple of lamprey heads in the box, so I've put one of those on just to see if it lasts a bit longer with the crayfish. So yeah, pleased with that. As I said, it was between Christmas and New Year the last time I was out, so it would have been a bit of a bind if this had turned out to be a blank, and thankfully it hasn't. Not a massive fish, but very welcome. Brown famously said, "It's okay, boys, it's one of ours." I'm being moored. The crayfish, certainly the margin rod, the baits aren't lasting half an hour. So I'm going to be running short of bait shortly, I think. Obviously the one in the, I don't know whether the crayfish are also out in the middle, because obviously I've had a fish which must have picked up a bait, but obviously the bait wasn't on the hooks when I brought the fish in, so I don't know whether it's having the same, it's being attacked in the same fashion. And the twice I've brought the rod back so far, the bait has still been on. But what can you do? The one thing that did occur to me, this stretch, which is probably over half a mile, seems to be where most of the crayfish are concentrated. It would be worth trying for a perch or two, I would have thought. Can you see this? Just a second, I'll turn you around. I don't know whether you'll see that, but that's the float vibrating as the oh, that might not just be crayfish. Hang on. I'm not sure. There's something nadgering away at it. Oh, there we go. Well, well. What a flipping carve up. The hooks flew out the fish just as it went in the net. That was after I did a Torval and Dean on the bank. A bit of a clean up required. I'll be back in a minute. There you go, number 2, which was a bit of a debacle, to be honest. Go on, Buster. There they go. Now I need to get myself sorted out. Well, that was a bit of a lash up. I'd just recast a new lamprey head on the margin rod, and was trying to show you and explain how the crayfish were nadgering at the baits, the float vibrating and all of that sort of stuff. When the float stood up and began to head off towards the middle of the river, clearly not a crayfish. What then followed was, as I say, a complete lash up. I wouldn't care. I've got my crampons on. You can tell the bank's as muddy as hell after all of the high floods that we've had recently. There's a whole new layer of sediment deposited on the bank, and I've got my crampons on, but the trouble with crampons is they pick up the mud, and once they get full, then you may as well not have crampons on, as I ably demonstrated by going on my backside. I was lucky to get the fish. I think I said the hooks actually, I was struggling to stay upright and the hooks came out of the fish just as it went over the lip of the net, so that was kind of fortunate. But as you can imagine, I'll need a hose down when I get home. Hope you enjoyed that. Oh, and by the way, if you were wondering why the alarm on the other rod was rattling off, it's because I knocked it out the clip when I was picking up the landing net. It wasn't another run. That would have been complete chaos if it had been. that's it. We've run out of bait. There is no more. We didn't quite make the hat trick, but the two modest fish we got made the day very worthwhile, especially after such a long break away from the banks. I'll need to try and get onto the rivers a couple more times if I can before the end of the river season, which is only just over 2 weeks away now. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Thank you for joining me. Please be kind in the comments. My pride has already taken enough of a battering. And I'll see you again soon. I'm not sure where. I'll have to find a stretch of river where I can avoid these damn crayfish. As I say, thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye for now.